The president is clearly unhinged, and he's doing what we've seen him do many times before, which is to speak off the cuff and on a whim and to degrade the basic rule of law. He is a president who has said again and again that he is checked only by his own morality. Well, here's the real check as I see it. We have the greatest military that the world has ever known, and we have service members who raise their right hand and they swear an oath to our Constitution. They, above all, operate under the law. We made a decision as a country after the Second World War that we wanted to be a country in which our military doesn't blindly follow orders, they follow the law. And that is exactly why I came together with 5 of my colleagues to repeat this basic principle under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And it has been important every day since we've said it the first time. And that is why I will not be intimidated or silenced in doing my job and saying what I believe the law is, because that's the Uniform Code of Military Justice that Congress writes.
Congressman, you used to use the word unhinged to describe what the president has said over the last few days. And I want to talk about something that your colleague on the Senate side, Chris Murphy, said. He said in a post yesterday, quote, "If I were in Trump's cabinet, I would spend Easter calling constitutional lawyers about the 25th Amendment. This is completely, utterly unhinged. He's already killed thousands. He's going to kill thousands more." Of course, that's in response to the open up the effing strait. So you see that, Congresswoman, and I wonder, there's no authorization for the use of military force for this war. His Republican colleagues, the president's Republican colleagues, have stopped a real open debate about it and a real vote on it. Do you think that this moves the needle at all to where members of Congress on the Republican side will hear from concerned parents that, hey, my son or daughter could be in a very serious war? We haven't debated this. Oh, and by the way, the commander-in-chief who is sending them into danger does not appear to be all with it. Do you think this moves it at all?
Well, what I can tell you is I am hearing from parents of service members who are overseas right now putting their lives on the line, from military families who have been put in an incredibly painful situation where very suddenly their loved ones were sent overseas, and we have a commander-in-chief at the helm who is unprecedented in the cavalier and downright dangerous way that he is executing his constitutional responsibilities. You know, when I take a look at the cabinet, the 25th Amendment really turns on people of good faith who mean their oaths to our Constitution when they took them, who are willing to hold this president accountable. And so far, we don't see that kind of courage from the president's cabinet. In Congress, I continue to believe that every member of the United States Congress should be forced to vote on this war every day as long as it's being waged. And we're 37 days in and with no real end in sight. And this is our most basic constitutional responsibility. The Speaker of the House continues to do his job in a way that he is serving at the pleasure of the president. And that is just absolutely upside down and truly dangerous in this moment when we have a president who is making us less safe overseas, who has created a global energy crisis that is jacking up costs right here at home. You know, in the state of New Hampshire alone, we've seen $40 million more in spending at the gas pump as a direct result of this war. And that's just the beginning of the costs that people are feeling because of this president. He's now saying we can't afford Medicare or Medicaid in this country because he wants to fund this war of choice. We need people of good faith who love this country and who believe in their responsibilities under our Constitution to step up and do their jobs.